Greetings, my people. It's Mr. Pull the Trigger yet again on another episode of the Enlightenment series. So this is part 2 of part 2. But if this goes well, we might do an exception of another episode, which will be part 3 of part 3. But let's see how this one goes. So it was still in relation to the previous episode that I did as to who is behind the attempted assassination of Apostle Johnson Suleman. So this one is based on what the spiritual son of Johnson Suleman said. And when I say the spiritual son of Johnson Suleman, I mean the Akaraho, the live fire hood, Apostle Kasichuku, the former lion killer. So on the continuation of the interview that he was hosted in, someone sent me that video and I just had to listen to one or two things based on the response that he gave, because Cass is the one that normally has inside information of what is going on and what and stuff like that. So if any one of you wants to know what is going on in the camp of Suleman, you might not be able to get to the man, but you can get through Cass. Cass will tell you what's up, because he's the one that comes out he's the soldier, he's the foot soldier, he's the cyberspace soldier for Apostle Suleman. So be that as it may, he was asked the question as to who are the prime suspects that might be behind taking the life of Apostle Johnson Suleman. And Kazi did not hesitate. He had his prime suspects. I'm going to let you hear it from the horse's mouth. And then we can deliberate on his response and on the people that he is actually suspecting. Because whatever Kazi suspects, Johnson Suleman suspects. Here we are dealing with the doctrine of vicarious liability. To those of you who are familiar with law, you know that this is a strict what do they call it in law? I don't remember this doctrine, but I know what it means. But to explain it might be a little bit difficult for me, because I did not practice law, but I'm on my way to be doing law, because this is one of the things that I really, really love doing. So vicarious liability, it's more like a strict obligation that is placed on the employer for any wrongdoing that is committed by the employee. So if the employer, I'm putting it in the context of an organization, of a corporate organization. So if any employee of the company does anything that can implicate the entire organization, it's not the employee that will be held accountable for it. It's the entire organization that will have to pay for the damages. Case in point, the case of baby testimony. Pardon me, I cannot leave out the case of baby testimony in almost anything that I speak about. In the case of baby testimony, even if Jeremiah Omoto is not part of the abduction syndicate, the fact that the child was abducted at Mercy City by this doctrine of vicarious liability, Jeremiah Omoto is automatically liable. And due to another doctrine which is called duty of care, it puts Jeremiah Omoto in the position of being liable, whatever the outcome may be. So in the case of Kasichuku, everything that he says it on behalf of Johnson Suleman, because we believe him to be a connect to Suleman's camp. He is the mouthpiece of the Suleman's team. Everything that Suleman wished to say that he cannot say, we believe that Kasi is the one that comes up front to say it. That's why Omoto Fofane was not happy when Kasi Chuku came out blasting and asking Jeremiah Omoto to release the CCTV footage. This is what made Omoto Fofane think that Apostle Suleman is the one that is behind Kasi. I know now, I'm of the belief now that Omoto Fofane might also be familiar with the doctrine of vicarious liability. That's why he thought Suleman is the one that is backing his son or that is supporting his son, because there's no way the son of Apostle Suleman can talk bad about the friend of his spiritual father. But Kasichuk was not really talking bad about Jeremiah Omoto for fame. He was just doing the right thing by asking the friend of his spiritual father to release the CCTV footage. But be that as it may, he had to, to go through up and down, to run helter-skelter, and to be arrested several times, to be set up here and there, just so that Jeremiah Omoto can prove that he is a powerful man and you cannot mess with him like that. So let's put all that aside. Let's look into the theme of the conversation. Kasichuk was asked, who do you suspect to be behind the assassination attempt on your spiritual father? This is what Kasichuk had to say. Check it out.
The question now is, you are very close to him. Who is after Suleman's life? We want to know.
Okay, there are some pastors who are really making sure Apostle Johnson Suleman go down by August. So
Okay.
on the clergy side, I may not want to call name, you understand, because for some certain reason. And number two, there are two persons I would love to mention their names, which
But
I can
please,
stand.
before you cannot prove it, just
No, I
don't mention their name.
no. That was why I said the pastor raised. I don't want to call names. You understand? But the two names I want to call are name I can prove. You understand?
Okay.
This lover have hand in what happened yesterday. It is clear this lover have hand. Because if you watch, there has been a lot of threat coming from this lover that he's going to make sure that he deal with Apostle Johnson Suleman, and he's going to bring Apostle Johnson Suleman down. And don't forget that also Apostle Johnson Suleman has been going after this lover too. He's going after this lover, but on the legal way. But this lover is coming on illegal way. Apostle Suleman is coming on the legal way. So this lover has been receiving some woto from Apostle Johnson Suleman. And some of his page has been brought down, and this lover is on the run. Even though some persons have been arrested, because not one person get this lover. There are many ways they operate that this lover. Some has been arrested, but they made this lover is on the run, and that this lover has vowed that anything it takes for him to bring Apostle John Suleman is going to do it. And number two is Maureen Bandijo, the one that Apostle John Suleman brought down a YouTube page. These people are ready to pay back by anything, by any means. We have been able to reach some people who they are contacting to make sure they bring down Apostle John Suleman. So this lover and Maureen Bandijo are the people who are officially against Apostle Johnson Suleman, because their plan on social media towards his ministry and his life could not work. You remember there was a time that Maureen Bandijo sent somebody to go and video Apostle Johnson Suleman's house, and she posted it on social media. So anybody that can send somebody in London, from London, you send somebody to go to Awuchi to go and video somebody's house and send to you, you can as well send an assassin over that person. So Maureen Bandijo and Lover are the main suspects, and some pastors, they know themselves. We don't want to call them, but they know themselves. They know say the dance, so they dance, that's look at the dance. When the time go reach, we go call them, come and make the dance out.
So Kasichuk suspects Lovers and Maureen Bandijo to be the ones that are actually behind the assassination attempt. And the reason why he suspects Lover, because Lover has been bringing water to Suleman. And Lover has been bringing out so many things about Suleman that shook Suleman so bad, to a point whereby Suleman had to do a video to address Lover. That, hey, Lover, why don't you show your face? If you're not afraid, if you're confident of what you're talking about, why don't you show your face? I think there's a point when one of Lover, because I believe it's a community, one of them was arrested and illegally detained by Johnson Suleman's police people. So Kasichuk is under the impression that Lover is behind the assassination attempt. And according to Kasi Chuku, Gislava once threatened Suleman that he will do whatever, or she will do whatever, or they will do whatever it takes to make sure that they bring Suleman's down because of what they did to one of their own, to one of the Gislava. So that is the prime suspect as per Kasi Chuku's testimony. The second prime suspect that could be behind the assassination attempt is Maureen Badi-Joe. To those of you who are not familiar with Maureen, she has been on Suleman's neck. She has been taking Suleman from pillar to post to an extent whereby Suleman felt like he was losing the battle and he had to do all the gimmicks to take down Maureen's channel. And after that, I think that's when Maureen declared war on Suleman, that he would do whatever it takes to also bring down Johnson Suleman. According to Kasi Chuku, Maureen once deployed people to go and record videos of where Suleman stays. So Kasi Chuku said, if someone can do that, if someone can deploy someone to go and take videos of someone's property, someone's home, they are capable of also deploying assassins to go and hunt down Suleman and go and take down Suleman. So like I said, this is part 2 of the suspects that could be behind the attempted assassination of Apostle Johnson Suleman and his family. But now let's look in depth. Do you think, okay, let's not undermine, or let's not take these 2 suspects lightly, according to Kasi Chuku. But do you think these 2 set of bloggers might have the capacity to actually deploy some assassins to go and hunt down Suleman? Do you think they will go that extra mile to go and try to bring down or take Suleman's life? Or personally, I don't agree with Maureen on certain things, but I don't think she can actually want to see Suleman go down 6 feet underground. I don't think she can go that extra mile to hire an assassin to take down Suleman, but you can never know. Maybe she can, maybe she can't. I don't know. I don't know how much she was hurt when Suleman took down her channel, because it's also painful. I believe Maureen worked tirelessly to build a platform and to establish a platform for someone to come and do dubious reports on that very same platform so that it can be taken down. Because personally, I was not happy. Okay, personally, people just heard that a platform was taken down and they were saying, oh, because you were saying this about Suleman, you were cyber stalking, cyber bullying. That was the story that was sold to the public. That the reason why Maureen's platform was taken down is because she was cyberbullying or cyber stalking Johnson Suleman. But when Maureen finally came to explain her own side of the story as to how her channel was taken, it ended up conflicting with the initial report that was given by Suleman's PR. And according to Maureen, the way that they took down her channel, it was because of falsified court documents. There was a ruling on court papers that they falsified in Nigeria, and they sent them to YouTube, claiming that Maureen is being charged and YouTube is being charged, which I believe it's a foul play in a game of this nature. If you believe that some people are lying about you, if you believe that these people are trying to tarnish your image, there are better ways to prove yourself innocent other than using dubious channels to sabotage those people that are trying to speak their own truth. Like, for instance, if you say Maureen was lying, there are so many other ways you can prove that you're innocent or what she's talking about is not true. Not by going through circles as a prophet or as an apostle of God. These things kind of take so many things away from these men of God, as they call themselves. Why do you go mafia when the fighting field, when the battlefield is open? You just have to play fairly. Maureen was coming fairly and she was critiquing what she was critiquing. And we believed and we were also expecting Suleman to also come fairly in the battlefield and bring his defense and his proof, which justifies his own defense that whatever that is being spoken about this lady is a lie. But when he actually went that extra mile to go to court, he did not even go to court according to Maureen. Okay, we cannot make conclusions now because we do not know the full story from both parties. They both gave their own narratives. But according to Maureen, these people, Suleman's people, they falsified court papers and they used those falsified court papers to take down Maureen's platform. It's just that Maureen, with me that time, we were not really in good books, but yet she consulted, or if we were in good books, there were so many other ways that she could have appealed all that and proved it if those documents were falsified or if they were wrongly presented to the YouTube platform. So putting that aside, looking at the other suspect, Gislava, I believe they also took down Gislava's platform. So it could be one of the reasons why Kasichuku suspects Gislava to be also behind the assassination attempt. But could these people be so angry to a point whereby they can hire assassins simply because their platforms were taken down? If a platform is taken down, you can create another one. You can start afresh. People are still here on digital spaces. They can always remember to search your name and they can still follow you. Do you think they could have been hurt that much to a point whereby they can hire an assassin to go and attack Johnson Suleman because he orchestrated an attack on their platforms? Or maybe it's because some of them, their platforms are their sources of income. Okay, in that case, I'll understand. If this is their main sources of income, if their YouTubes, Instagrams, and Facebook constitute the biggest part of their sources of income, then it's possible that they could have hired assassins. Okay, if someone takes bread from your table, what will you do? If they want your children to suffer, your children to starve, what will you do? That is an attack to your entire family and your entire generation. So it could be true that they hired these assassins, but it's not confirmed. So you tell me what you think based on what Mr. Kasichuku said and what Mr. Kasichuku alleged, that it's Gislava and it's Maureen Badejo that are prime suspects to the assassination attempt of Johnson Suleman because of this fight that they've been involved in. Suleman hiring people to take down their channels, Suleman hiring people to remove their content or their platforms from digital spaces. So them, the only way that they can react, the only way that they can retaliate is to send assassins to go and take down the men that is preventing them from eating from the revenues that they probably could be generating from these digital platforms. So it makes sense. Maybe what Cass is saying makes sense. That these people are angry because in this life is dog eat dog. Like for me personally, it's possible. Any day you can wake up and hear that Prophex is normal. That's not something that should come as a shock to people. Because this is life. None of us are getting out of it alive. And with this, with what I'm doing here and with all this that I'm doing, disrupting the incomes of these charlatans, chances are high that they can hire anyone to come and take me down. It will not just be as that easy because I was also born for the streets and we know how to run streets. And any day, any minute, any hour, we are forever ready. If it goes down, it goes down. Whoever goes down, go down. But as long as God is still on our side, believe you me, no one can stop reggae and nothing can happen to us. So, we just live. We don't live by chance. We live by grace. Apostle Suleman also almost lost his life. In the blink of an eye, he could be no more right now. Or he could actually be having a conversation with Paul, and Paul will be asking him, so, Mr. Apostle, what did you do for me? What did you preach? What word were you preaching? So all these accusations that you denied, what if there is proof that they are true? How was Apostle going to defend himself? It's easy for him to defend himself now. But when the day comes, when you have to answer to the one who sees what happens in the darkness. Because on that day, it will be one man for himself. There will be no one to take down YouTube channels on that day. There will be no one to delete people's content on digital spaces on that day. It will be Johnson Suleman and if I don't know if God assigns angels to judge people or to cross-examine people if they qualify to enter heaven, but it will be Suleman alone on his PR team will not be there. So, Mr. Apostle, will you be able to answer? Will you be able to defend yourself there? Because when you are used to be defended, when you are used to have people that do all these other gimmicks for you behind the scenes, on that final day, will you be able to stand and answer for yourself? That's the question. That's the biggest question. This should have been a wake-up call for you to start, thinking through things, for you to actually start asking yourself questions. I've seen you're already in fights with police generals. You're already exchanging words. This is not the time for that. You almost lost your life, not just your life, but the life of your wife and your children. I don't know if you're with your children in the car. That could be your last day. And you were lucky. The bulletproof, the armored vehicle saved you. It was not God. It was the armored vehicle that saved you. What if that was your last day? This should be a moment of reflection for you, Mr. Johnson. And this should be a moment for you now to make peace with everyone instead of keeping on fighting. And if you know that you're guilty of all these accusations, there is no wrong in coming out to apologize. This can be a very good opportunity for you to set the record straight and for you to turn to Christ and start serving Him righteously. We are all men, we all make mistakes. No one is immune to making mistakes. Instead of you bragging about you escaping from this incident, this could be an opportunity for you to right your wrongs. If there are people crying out there, the tears of those people will forever be haunting you. If you have enemies out there that are after your head, this is the time, this is an opportunity for you to make peace. You can't come and start new wars after escaping death the way you escaped it, especially if there were lives that were lost like this. The best way to honor the lives of the people that died on this incident is by making peace. Because it's because of the grudges that you have with so many people that we have lost 7 people now. These are fathers who have left their families behind. So instead of preparing for more war, instead of fighting with many people again, instead of hurting so many other souls out there, this is the time to make peace, ask for forgiveness, and do good for yourself and God, and rebuild your relationship with Christ. This is the time for you to seek His face, and walk away from all these wrongdoings that you have been accused of. I know you'll be tempted to compare yourself to Christ, to say, even Christ went through the same tribulations, the same accusations. No. Christ was never accused for fornication. He was never accused for all these things that you're being accused of. Your set of accusations are totally different. They are unique. So make up your mind, Mr. Johnson. Make up your mind. You never know. This might be God trying to start a new thing in your life. This might be God Himself trying to redirect you. He probably sees so much potential in you to win more souls for the kingdom. There's no time for bragging. I saw the video that you did that no one can kill me. No one can kill you. God is by your side. No. This is time for you to reflect and honor the lives that were lost on this massacre. This was a massacre. Honor their lives by apologizing to the world, to the people that you have wronged, and start your new chapter, start your new life on a clean slate. That's all I have to say for now. And you people, you let me know what you think in the comment section. Could Apostle Castle, the lion killer, be right? Could Marine and Just Lover be behind your spiritual father's life? The comment box is open. You let me know what you think. So till I meet you again on the next episode of the Enlightenment Series, Mr. Pull the Trigger. I'm out.